Hello, my name is Yuka. I'm an English teacher and I've come across some activities that can help you teach your students phonetics, or if you're learning English and you want to improve a little bit your pronunciation, you could use some of these tips. So as we know, in schools, like ordinary schools here in Spain, they don't teach phonetics, or if they do, they just cover it slightly. Just don't go too deep into it, and we don't get to practice much speaking, because most of our time we spend like doing exercises or learning grammar. And also there's these myths about pronunciation that teachers believe and people believe, such as pronunciation is a talent, it cannot be taught, or there's not enough time to teach phonetics or pronunciation. And the biggest of all, we don't know how, and this is not a belief, this is a reality. Like we're not really taught how to teach phonetics in class. So here go like 4 little tricks so you can teach pronunciation, tricks to help Spanish students, but also students from different countries, like Asian countries and many others that have similar problems to Spanish kids or adults. The tissue technique. I don't have a tissue at the moment, so I'm just gonna use toilet paper. This one is to be able to pronounce the phoneme P. So in Spanish, for instance, we have the sound B, and we use it for words like patata, potato. So our students, like Spanish students, tend to pronounce potato, they tend to say potato. There's no explosion, there's no air coming out of the mouth. So it's not incorrect, like people will understand if you say, can I have a potato? But it always sounds more native if you change these little bits on pronunciation. So here goes. So if I say patata in Spanish and I put the toilet paper or tissue in front of my mouth, like this, let's see what happens. Patata. It doesn't move. Whereas if I say potato, releasing air through my mouth, potato, ooh, it's moved a lot. So if you show that to children or to adults, they will see real quick that they're not doing it correctly. Don't show them how it moves when you say it, but just let them try. Give them a word like potato, police, a word that begins with the sound P. This one. So give them a word, give them a tissue or a piece of toilet paper, and tell them to put it in front of their mouth and see what happens. Police, police, patata, patata, not moving, and then you go, police, potato, and it moves. We're gonna move on to the mirror glass technique. And this one we need a glass or a window or a door that has glass. So because I'm at home, I'm gonna get a glass of water. This technique is to practice the sound H, the H sound, that one. Many Spanish students have a big problem with that sound, and when they say the word hello, for instance, instead of saying hello, they say hello, hello, because that's the closest sound we have in our mother tongue, so that's the sound we use. Therefore, in order not to sound so harsh in the ears, because when I hear someone saying hello, how are you, this is quite heavy and strong, so I ask them to go next to the window, or in this case I have a glass, put it in front of your mouth and say hello in the Spanish way. So you go hello, nothing happens. But if then you release air again, like in the English way, you go hello, and then you can see the stem. I don't know if you can tell, but you can get them to practice to do that. And then when you can see that it's foggy and steamy, then it's the correct sound. And then you can get them to practice hello, hello, hello. Exaggerating at first, and then it comes out naturally. Good. The next one is the tongue technique to teach the th sound. Normally in words with the th at the beginning, like think, thought, like think or thought. Spanish speakers or Thai speakers, they go think. It's difficult for them to go th. So you just ask them to place a finger in front of their mouth, like this, and then they have to touch their finger with the tip of the tongue, like this. Think, think. Then they will be able to say that sound. And the last one, I call it the barking technique, and it's to pronounce the sound R. Because in Spanish we have two R's, we have the R and we have the R. Instead of saying rock, for instance, we say rock or Rudolf instead of Rudolf. So I ask them if they know how to bark like a dog, and I ask them to bark for me. And some of them they go woof woof, some of them they go ruff ruff ruff. So when you bark like a dog, like ruff, your tongue, the position of your tongue goes in the exact shape that you need to do the R sound. So your tongue needs to be like this. You don't need to roll it on your palate. So you just need to place it like this. So you go rock, 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 Rudolph, Rudolph. So that's how you do the R sound. So that's it for today. I hope that's been useful for some of you. I found these techniques really useful, and my students have told me that they hadn't realized that they did it that way before. So being a Spanish teacher, teaching people from all over the world, you realize that because I've been a student, I've been through this, and I've said hello, I've said Rudolph, I've said potato. So because I've been there, and sometimes people don't understand you if you don't pronounce like they do. And then I learned through some of these techniques, and also through friends that have been correcting me throughout my stay in the country. That's how I learned. So I just hope you find this useful and you can use it in your class, or if you're learning English, you now are able to pronounce it a little bit more like a native. Thank you, bye.